Welcome back to StoryVoyage, where we dive into the most intense and gripping real-life stories straight from Reddit. Today, we have an emotional roller coaster of a tale, one filled with betrayal, manipulation, and a husband's journey to rediscover his own truth. Get ready, because this story will keep you on the edge of your seat. Let's jump right in. You always hear stories about people catching their partners cheating and walking away, right? They have that aha moment, confront their cheating spouse, and things just blow up from there. But my story wasn't like that. It wasn't that simple. What my wife did to me was far worse than just having an affair. She made me question my reality, my self-worth, and almost everything I believed to be true. This is the story of how I was gaslit for over a year and nearly lost my mind in the process. We had been married for 6 years when I first noticed something was off. Michelle and I had always had a pretty stable relationship, or at least I thought we did. Sure, we had our fights, but nothing that ever made me think we were on the verge of falling apart. We met in college, both passionate about our careers, and we supported each other through tough times. I loved her. I trusted her completely. It all started small, as these things often do. She began working later than usual. She'd text me at odd hours, telling me she was stuck in a meeting or that the team decided to grab drinks after work. Of course, I didn't think much of it at first. Her career had always been demanding and she'd had late nights before. But after a few weeks of this happening almost every day, I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. I remember asking her about it one night, trying to keep it casual. You've been out a lot recently. Is everything okay at work? She gave me a tired smile and kissed me on the forehead. It's just been crazy, babe. My boss is a nightmare right now, and we're under a ton of pressure to hit deadlines. I'll make it up to you once things settle down, okay? I believed her. I wanted to believe her. But that gut feeling just wouldn't go away. As time went on, I started noticing other things too. She became distant, more secretive. She'd never been the type to guard her phone, but suddenly it was always face down, or she'd take it with her even when going to the bathroom. I couldn't shake the sense that something was going on, but I didn't have any concrete evidence. Just little things that on their own seemed harmless. Together though, they painted a different picture. Then came the day that really set everything in motion. I found a receipt for a fancy dinner, a place we'd never been to together. It was buried in her coat pocket, and the date on it was one of the nights she told me she was working late. I confronted her, and that's when the gaslighting started. Why are you going through my stuff? She snapped, her eyes narrowing at me as if I had done something wrong. Do you not trust me? I went out with some coworkers. It's no big deal. You're being paranoid. And just like that, I started to doubt myself. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe it was just dinner with her team. Like she said, but the nagging feeling in my gut didn't go away. I couldn't shake the thought that she was lying to me. So like any rational person driven to the brink of madness, I did something I'd never thought I'd do. I checked her phone while she was in the shower. There it was. A series of messages from a guy named Rob. They were flirty, and some of them were downright explicit. I felt like my heart had been ripped out of my chest. My hands shook as I scrolled through the conversation, piecing together that they had been seeing each other for at least a few months. When she came out of the shower, I couldn't hold it in anymore. I showed her the messages and demanded an explanation. Are you seriously going through my phone now? She yelled, her face twisted in anger. You've become so controlling lately. This is why I've been distant. I don't feel safe around you anymore. Safe? What was she even talking about? I was the one who had just discovered she was cheating on me, and now she was flipping the narrative like I was the bad guy. I was stunned, trying to process what was happening. Michelle, you've been cheating on me, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. I saw the messages. How can you blame me for this? She crossed her arms and glared at me, completely unfazed. I wouldn't have started talking to Rob if you hadn't pushed me away. You've been so distant, so obsessed with your own stuff that I had to find comfort elsewhere. Now I was the problem. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. She was trying to twist the situation, make it seem like I was the reason she cheated. And in that moment, I began to question myself. Had I really been neglecting her? Had I been so focused on my own life that I didn't notice our marriage falling apart? Over the next few weeks, things only got worse. Every time I tried to talk to her about the affair, she'd turn it around on me, accusing me of being controlling, paranoid, and distant. She even started telling our friends that I had become emotionally abusive, which was absolutely not true. But as she told the story more and more, people started to believe her. I felt like I was losing my mind. I'd catch her in lie after lie. Somehow, every confrontation ended with me feeling like I was the one at fault. She'd twist my words, make me feel guilty for doubting her, and insist that I was pushing her away. Then one day I hit rock bottom. I came home from work and she was sitting on the couch with a packed suitcase. "I'm leaving," she said, her voice cold and emotionless. "I can't do this anymore. You've made me feel like a prisoner in my own home." I didn't even argue. I was exhausted, emotionally drained from months of manipulation. She left, and I was left standing in the empty house, wondering how everything had gone so wrong. But it wasn't over. Not by a long shot. After she left, she filed for divorce and tried to take everything: our house, our savings, everything we had built together. She even claimed that I had been emotionally abusive throughout our marriage, painting herself as the victim in the entire situation. I fought back, of course. I had evidence of her affair, proof of her lies, but the damage was already done. She had convinced so many people that I was the bad guy that I had to rebuild my entire reputation from scratch. The divorce dragged on for months, and it was the most exhausting experience of my life. But eventually the truth came out. I was able to prove that she had been lying, that her entire narrative was based on deception and manipulation. In the end, I got the house, I kept my savings, and I walked away with my dignity. But the emotional scars, they're still there. Gaslighting is one of the most insidious forms of abuse, and it leaves you questioning everything you thought you knew. It took me a long time to trust anyone again, to believe in myself again. But I made it through. So that's my story. She cheated, and then she tried to blame me for everything. But in the end, I didn't let her break me. Thanks for joining us on this wild ride. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to StoryVoyage for more unbelievable and heart-wrenching tales. Drop a comment below if you've ever experienced something similar, or just to share your thoughts. Until next time, keep exploring the stories that shape us.